Hello, everyone. This is Kristina, business and digital marketing coach. And today is new episode of KSM podcast, Growing Business Online with Kristina. And I'm super excited today to introduce you my special guest speaker, Biljana Hutchinson. Biljana, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me and having me here.
I'm
very excited about it.
I'm super happy. And Biljana, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, where are you based?
Okay, so morning, everyone. It's morning for me now.
Here is morning as well in Serbia.
Yeah, so I'm in the UK. I think we're just 1 hour apart. And I'm originally Serbian. Settled in the UK since 2015, early 2015. So this is the longest time I've been living anywhere apart from my home country, which was about 19 years altogether. So I see this as my success. I am a plant-based nutrition coach or plant-based nutrition and lifestyle coach. And I've been doing this since 2019. I help basically people who experienced trauma, but they are it's not, I don't work directly with people who just experienced trauma. It's more down the line of their recovery journey. And we take control of their health so they can take back control and structure completely their life too. How I ended up doing this is because, like many coaches that we know, pretty much with their own journey, I experienced traumatic event back in 2010. I used to work as an international aid worker, and I spent doing that 12 years. Which is the best time of my life. And back in 2010, I worked in Afghanistan and my office was attacked. So I was injured. That lasted for 6 hours. It was quite gruesome, but after that, I started my family, was evacuated back to Serbia, spent some time living there. And actually it was discovering plant-based lifestyle through my recovery journey and seeing the benefits that brought me and my family. Then I decided that, wait a minute, there's something here and I really want to share this with the world. So that's how I ended up actually doing this for the rest of and it was also a lovely way for me to continue what I've been doing before, which is, I don't know, doing my part in making the world a better place. So because I never wanted to go back to that, to my previous career, then I see this now as a way of, helping people and making the world a better place.
Yeah, and that's, you really do a fantastic job, and because you just really experience such horrible things in your life, let's say, and we met online, and I'm super excited because we're from the same country and origin. And yeah, and as you said that you really just start working as a coach, especially from what you have experienced, and just starting that is like that you change yourself, change your life, change the world. So, and you told me we spoke about it, and you told me you were recovering and everything was it was duration, just you need time to recover and your health and everything. And can you share with us your just like let's say aha momentum when you realize that you need to change your foods, way of living, and you see you're in better recover way when you started with to change in mindset in some way about the life. And
you know, while I was so I went through a quite intensive therapy, 5 years of quite intensive therapy, and it helped to deal obviously with what happened, and making sense, and why things happen, and we try, that's what we try to do when we experience trauma, with something traumatic happens to us, why we keep asking why. So that was one side of of recovery. But then there's always that physical part where no matter how much sense we make out of something, there are the emotions of guilt and shame and survivor's guilt and inadequacy and embarrassment and hate and all sorts of things that are going through our mind and through our body as well. So I started experiencing physical health problems. So I was diagnosed with thyroid, underactive thyroid. I gained weight that through both my pregnancies, I gained weight that I was just not able to lose afterwards, no matter what I tried or how hard I tried, how hard I exercised. There was, I started experiencing skin problems, all sorts of things that, started happening that I never experienced before. So at one point I was talking to my friend who is also from Serbia, lives in Stockholm, and she is a fitness guru. Like she's been in fitness for 30 years. And I've been talking to her about different types of exercises that I tried and different types of workouts. And I tried everything from, boxing to CrossFit to all sorts of intensive things. And I just wasn't losing weight. So she told me, listen, why don't you watch a movie? So she sent me a documentary, and she said, just have a look and let's start implementing a couple of things. So I was like, okay, well, I didn't know much about plant-based eating or changing, or I didn't even connect, I didn't even make a link between what we eat and how it makes us feel. So I watched the movie, watched the documentary, and it actually made sense. So I was like, that does make sense. But because the guy that I watched the documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. So the guy who made the movie, he was juicing everything. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to juice my food, but I I took from the documentary a couple of things. Like, okay, I can try, do these things and stop eating meat for a month and see if it makes a difference. Just test it, right? And it actually did make a difference within a month. And that was my wow. Like, first of all, I didn't try to do anything else. I did everything else the same. I just took the meat out. And then after a month, because I started waking up with more energy, I lost some weight without really trying. And I said, if I can do this with only ditching meat for a month, let me see what else I can do. So, but I was also interested to see how does that actually work in our body? Like, what is happening when we don't eat certain foods and when we eat certain foods? So at the same time as I started testing things on me and introducing changes, I started actually reading and studying nutrition and plant-based nutrition. And I started first at the Cornell University in the US. They had an online course specifically targeted for plant-based nutrition. And that's how I started again another degree and learning more from after US and Cornell University. I started something here in the UK. So, and at the same time, I was introducing changes, and one by one, my health problems were starting to disappear. My mental health improved. And that was a big thing for me, because I had at the time, I had 2 small kids. My kids were only 1.5 and 3 at the time. And it helped a lot, because I started having more patience with them. I started spending more time with them. I started, playing with them, taking them places, showing up to the world a little bit more, because I was also avoiding to go out. I mean, all sorts of things were happening, that played a really big role, until I watched that documentary, and it was, wow, I never actually connected that. And because I realized how much we can do ourselves, and I'm not saying, to ignore medications or our modern medicine, absolutely not. I strongly believe in science. But there are so many things that we can do ourselves to help that medication and that treatment that is prescribed to us by the doctors.
Yeah, and you're really right. And I'm super excited with what you achieved in your life, because you started with this and you didn't know how it's going. As you said, I didn't eat meat for 1 month. And after that, I saw that if I can do it, and can I start changing something and see what is going to happen?
Yeah.
And you're really, that's really true. So and I think that everything what you told me for now is that, and that was your challenges, and I think that you went through all these challenges, in terms to move forward and recover, and in some way discover you and yourself in some different way that you have never think about it, that is going to be.
Yes. You see, when I was on my therapy, my therapist asked me, would you like to include medications in your treatment? And I was 35 at the time. I said flatly no. Because my thinking is, especially after I had kids, if I start using medications as part of my therapy, it will numb me. But also, I don't want to be medicated with my 2 small kids. And I was thinking it will be much harder for me if I do start using them to get off them eventually, and then again, there's still that recovery everything that I have to deal with is just later. So because of all that, that was one thing, but I knew that if I don't use medication, I have to do something else. I just didn't know it at the time, at the beginning, what it was, until I actually tested and noticed, wait a minute, these are the things that are making difference. So let me see. And then, I thought, okay, well, eventually, if I do need medications, I'll take them. But let me see what I can do first.
And this is really, really great, because, and after that, let's say you started with helping other people, helping other women to move forward, and people who experience trauma, or
Yes, I did. And most of my clients as well, most of the people that I worked with at the beginning especially, were people in my line of work. So my previous career, international aid workers, but I also had people who were veterans. So for example, my husband was in the army, and me and him started this journey together. So our whole family is actually plant-based. And it was just such a revelation. Wow, what how much better we feel. So but then, and I mainly worked with women at the beginning, but because there's so much need for men as well to just be healthy. And then another thing, they don't always openly talk about it, because they don't want to be seen like needy or weak. But just recently, then I opened up my whole community for men as well. And it was actually quite interesting to see that quite a few of them joined, which I really really appreciate, and I want, because I want my community to be, you know, open and non-judgmental and accepting, and because we all need to eat better, you know, no matter what. So, you know, it was a nice way to see that things are actually.
And you work online and offline, you know.
Yes, I work online. I work also offline. Just recently, I finished with one of my clients here, who was a local lady. She spent with me a year. It was quite successful. So yes, but I work mainly with online with people from all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and when people come to you, you know, how do you connect with your clients? How do you generate leads? For example, is it going to be on referral marketing or from testimony of your clients, or you know, people just, and how I think that when, can you share with us when people come to you and when they work with you, let's say, do you work on one-to-one or one-to-group? Can you share
Yes.
with us a little bit about that way of working?
Okay, so I had quite a few clients by referrals as well. So, you know, my clients would recommend me to someone else. So that's one way, and it's also quite nice to know that, you know, people actually talk about their successes. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook, and how I connect through these two platforms. They are my favorite platforms to work with people, because on LinkedIn, I can see who is professional, and you can see a little bit more on that professional side. But on Facebook, people do share a lot of private stuff, so you can actually find out more about them and about their personal life, which helps with connecting. You know, you can see what things we have in common. So these are the two main things that I do to connect with people and open myself, also show what I do. I work one-on-one. Because that gives me and my client more space to open up and just share anything that they want to share. It gives me more opportunity to create that safe place, especially if we're talking about trauma, so people can share and open up. My program is for 3 months, but many of my clients actually stay longer with me. So we just carry on and work on what they need mainly to focus on. What I do is I start with nutrition, and we change gradually what we eat, and then we include, because lifestyle is much more than just what we eat. We also work on stress management and sleep management. We work on changing habits. We work on something beautiful that is very important for trauma recovery, which is creativity. And we create a whole new, really, lifestyle slowly. And that's why it takes at least 12 weeks, because it takes time. And also, we don't want to get overwhelmed when we start changing many things all at once. We get overwhelmed and then we give up, which very often happens. So that's my main offer. But my other thing that I really love and enjoy is my membership, which is open to absolutely anyone, trauma or no trauma. It's about plant-based lifestyle. Again, covers all these elements, but there's more focus on food. And people, you know, it can be for anyone who just wants to learn more about plant-based eating, who want to take it in their own time. And that's on a monthly basis.
Yeah, and that's really nice that you work one-to-one, and yeah, and help people and change their lifestyle. And yes, this is really amazing. And I know that you, as you said, that you work online. And when I met you in some Facebook group, you know, and we connected, and you say, hey, how did you find me? But I really read your post, and it was so amazing when I read it, what you do, plant-based, you know, this is something very, very, you know, no, let's say this is very popular, but it's so important to change our lifestyle, especially in this very fast way of living, how I can say.
Yeah.
And we really need to change something in our life. So, you know, for you know, this podcast is going to be on Spotify. It's going to be in Apple, on YouTube channel as well. So you can also share with us your website, just to share with people how, and to tell us what are your favorite platforms. But you mentioned LinkedIn and Facebook, but just so that people audience can connect with you on that platform.
Yes. So I don't have a website. I do share my pages where people can find out more about the program and my membership. But mainly people can find me on Facebook under my real name. I do have the free community there as well, open for people. I share a lot of resources there about plant-based eating. I go live there talking about mindset and nutrition every Friday. And yes, Facebook and LinkedIn. I used to have Instagram, and I am thinking maybe opening it again, but I'm not sure. I mean, it just takes so much time, and so that's why I'm sticking to these two platforms, because then I can actually give some attention
and I know that you said already that you can just really you don't have time to manage the LinkedIn and Facebook platform and Instagram and Twitter, because just we really need to just to create our business, to lead our business, and sometimes we just don't really have time to manage many things. This is
exactly
for sure. And I know you have can you tell us a little bit about your live on Friday, because so often I listen your live, and I know that you especially were talking about when you plan one thing, just do it. You cannot create and do many things over the day. Just you need to create your time and plan your time, and in terms of time management, and have time for family, for business, for all these kind of things.
It took me, a very long time, and I'm sure people who actually work from home will feel this struggle, because when you work from home, you know it yourself, right? There's always something to do in the house as well. So you really need to be self-disciplined and organized to actually keep that focus, right? I'm sitting here to work now, and I can do laundry whenever later. So, and when you take a break, there's always something to do in the house. So you don't actually take a break, but you go and do laundry, for example, or you do dishes, or I don't know. So it took me a very long time to organize myself and get myself into the habit of being disciplined. And work on my business, and then work at home. So what I do is I structured my week. On Mondays, for example, I will plan my live. On Friday, I will plan my content and create my content, and then schedule it for the rest of the week. So then I don't have to think about it, on Tuesday or other days, to actually go back and schedule it. So that's one thing that I do. And on Fridays, I also take notes for some for that live on Friday that is scheduled, and I announce it so people know what is coming. And if they have any, they can put it in their calendar. If they have any questions, they can send it to me. And then on Friday, my live is at 12:30 in my community, in my group, which is called Transforming Trauma Through Holistic Living. And I spend between half an hour and 1 hour. We talk on subjects like mindset, nutrition, but also, for example, today's what? Today's Tuesday. So this Friday.
Tuesday, yes.
Yeah. So this Friday, I'm going to talk about negative thinking and how we can reframe that, how we can break that loop. And last Friday, I talked about how to change relationship with food. So, it's the subjects are really, and live trainings are longer, because I don't want to just, brush off. These are the subjects, and very similar to what I do in my program. I talk to my clients about that, and that's what we work on. So I just share the same trainings with my community as well.
Yeah, and your life, I really love that, because it looks like training, and just people can do comments, can answer a question, share ideas about it, and I really enjoyed listening your live. So that's really nice, and I'm inviting audience who will listen to this podcast to join your group. The name of, can you just share with us, just to remind us the name of your Facebook group?
Yes. So my community on Facebook is called Transforming Trauma Through Holistic Living, and the link to it is on my personal profile. And thank you very much. This is a lovely feedback. So I know then that people enjoy it, and
yeah. I really love it. Yeah, thank you, because
I enjoyed them as well.
Your story is really amazing. You know what you do, and what you experienced, and what are your challenges, and how did you start. Yeah, and this is really nice, and and you transform yourself. When you transform yourself, you can transform other people. So, and you wanted to, and we all wanted to share something what we experienced in some ways. But we all of us have some kind of to share our story. Every story is different, and because of that, I love this podcast, because to invite my guest speakers who are really amazing, and who you all of them have your stories to share it with, can influence other people to just to take over their problems, or how to find a way to change something if they are stuck. Is it in health, is it in business? And also, we as a women, we are leader. You're also leader in your business.
Yes,
in that way.
And as much as as women, and women from the Balkans, right? There's so many, like from other conflict areas, women are very strong, and they do so many things, and they go unnoticed. So having platforms like podcasts, like your podcast, and in general, podcast as a medium to share stories is absolutely brilliant and amazing. And that's why I love it. First of all, it's free. People can access it on different platforms and hear stories, learn from them, but also feel that they're not alone. There's so many people out there who face the same struggle, who face the same challenges, so it's always a nice feeling to know, wow, I'm not the only one. There's someone else out there who struggles the same, and who will understand, who can hear me, who sees me, and that validation of experience and emotion that people have is really important.
And it's really nice. And would you like, can you share with us and with some people who wanted to start business, let's say, from your experience? Because I always say, if you don't try, you can never know how it's going to be. Yes. So for women, for men, because you told that you work more, your majority clients are women, but for all listeners who will listen to this podcast, can you share something about, to encourage them to start their journey, their business journey, if they have, or share something or experience something, because there are many people similar to you who experienced in different ways. They have different experiences, and from there they start their business, and business came to them. If they didn't know that they will do it in their life.
My advice would be, because I know that people are amazing, and we all have something that we are good at, right? So think about, list all the things that you're good at, and then find one that you feel really good when you're doing it, and then share that with the world. Teach people how to do it. You can do it. The thing is, nowadays, we can start something for free in our own time, which was not the case before, right? And then share your knowledge and create business from there. But I would also, if you can afford it, I would also encourage you, if if business is something that you want to run for yourself, because it gives us freedom, it lets us express our creativity, it gives us opportunity to break away from 9 to 5 and do our own thing. It helps us learn so much about us. But if you can afford it, definitely hire a business coach.
Yeah, yes, this is really great advice. Just connect with business coach and find a mentor, try to connect with people who can support you. And
but also, I mean, there's so many. Also, it has to be not just first coach that you come across. Actually, you know, do a little bit of, let your feelers out and find out. You have so many business coaches out in social media that you can actually see and connect. So don't be just rushing to hire the first one you come across. See which one you connect with first, and then find a community of people like yourself who are starting business, because again, you know, it will help to know that you're not the only one who feels, oh, I don't know how to do this. And, you know, there's always, find someone who will understand and support you. Yeah, just encourage.
And there is always opportunities to get answer on your question. If you don't ask me, you cannot get the question, you know. So, and all your links I will share.
Thank you.
Below this recording podcast. And Biljana, it is such a great pleasure having you today. You really have amazing story and survival story and life-changing story, how I can say. Thank you so very much for joining to my podcast today. And it is really, I'm super excited and lovely to be with you and talk to you today.
Yes, thank you very much. As I said, I've loved that we connected. I really like how social media brought us together and allowed us to connect. Thank you very much for inviting me and letting me share my story with your listeners. So it was exciting. I always like chatting to you. So
thank you so much. Have a nice day. See you soon, and bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.